But you mentioned about some of the executive orders and a lot of the impacts already. So maybe let's go through some of it too. The specifics and maybe how did you go through the process of basically just dealing with it. From the get-go, the Trump administration immediately during the inauguration, one of the first things he said was, the declaration that the U.S. officially official policy is to have two genders.
Hmm.
And as we've mentioned before, you and the other members of the community have been experiencing this throughout already. So I guess what are some of your thoughts on that, and then
Yeah.
your reactions to since the new president came into office?
Yeah. Exactly like you had said, it's not new. I was already seeing the writing on the wall. Even the campaign, they were campaigning already with the points of like, I just be watching a football game and then there's a
Hmm.
commercial talking about trans, anti-trans, stuff. And it's just like, so they were using us already as political pawns. And so
Hmm.
I was already seeing the writing on the wall. And because of that, I prepared myself as much as possible. And the one that was going to be the most obvious was my passport.
Hmm.
And that was one that immediately people started getting effects on, like from day one. And I had seen this coming, and I saw there was a community Instagram run account where they were telling people to get your stuff in order before this happens, and they were having people that were donating money and was
Hmm.
paying for it. So I just got slid in the DMs. It's like, all right, what do I need? Someone just wrote, walked me through every step. They sent me the money. I
Hmm.
got it sent out, expedited everything that they told me to do, like on January 1st. And then boom, like a day after or before the inauguration, I got my passport
Hmm.
with my gender marker, with my name changed, everything was fine. But I was one of the few that caught, right? It was like it was a very small, like, oh, I just happened to see the people that were giving it happened to have the money. There was so many other people that didn't have that foresight and that were caught unaware. And then now that they're trying, they got caught in the system and they're not getting their passports back. So that was like the very first one that happened immediately. And I was able to luckily, or not, I mean, by like the foresight, was able to get through
Hmm.
that. So,
Yeah, and I mean, the passport is really just one of the many things that I'm sure you are and others are dealing with, and I think the reason why I'm excited to talk to you is really just to hear some of your thoughts, and maybe for other listeners as well, to understand kind of what are some of the things that you're dealing with, right? And the things that you're fighting for, right? The passport is one. I'm sure some of them have read about it and brush it off, and judge it to be just something else, something trivial or whatever. But there's so much more, right? I guess